Heading to Colony 7 on Mars this weekend? Check out the new Toronto Museum of Exoplanetary Archaeology. Because there's more to Bradbury Ward than Armstrong Park. Coming up, the latest news from the museum.
Still life number 4. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of a fertility goddess with anti-gravitational base, no obvious power source. Provenance unknown.
Still life number 5. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of a unique organic find, collagenic plant tissue with similarities to Tetrodontidae and Hippocastanaceae, discovered at Fibonacci Beach, Kepler 62e. Grand tentacles layer, circa 1.2 million local cycles BT.
Still life number 6. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of a component from an unknown device, tantalum substrate with tellurium plating. Spontaneous photovoltaic conversion requires caution. Mandelbrot marshes, Tauset EF, metropolis layer, circa 700 local cycles BT.
Still life number 7. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of a space pearl, a decorative object with religious significance, fashioned from a single calcareous concretion, unidentified invertebrate. Crystallization suggests repeated scoring with a far IR excision tool. Sierpinski planes, Kepler 186f. Temporal layer, circa 1250 local cycles BT.
Still life number 8. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of the deceptively innocuous ocean killer, discovered in the lesser cantors on Kepler 452b. Comet catastrophe layer, circa 500 local cycles BT. The unknown alloy is plated with a poorly understood biomimetic compound that reacts with moisture to produce oxygen and solid fuel. The nickname is explained by the runaway nature of the reaction in the presence of liquid water. Currently at a coalition research facility, no public access.
Check back for more news from distant worlds.
If you're searching for intelligent life on Mars, look no further than the new Toronto Museum of Exoplanetary Archaeology at Colony 7. Coming up, the latest news from the museum.
Still life number 9. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of a decorative artifact recovered from Hausdorff North, Trappist 1D. Recursion layer, circa 2000 local cycles BT. Exquisite openwork filigree, with delicate organic motifs, fused onto iridium and painted with a durable synthetic resin.
Still life number 10. Exoplanetary Archaeology series, depiction of a stele discovered at Lake Koch on Teegarten Star B. Big Bad Layer, circa 100k local cycles BT. Technically a probability amplitude capacitor, or PAC, such artifacts are renowned for changing shape in response to the proximity of an observer. Nicknamed the Menagerie after a field digger noticed the resemblance of the eigenstates to Terran animals, fish, frog, etc. Stolen during an exhibition.
Still life number 11. Exoplanetary Archaeology Series, depiction of the 100 millisecond life cycle of a single nanobug sample, high magnification, from Tau Ceti F. Engineered atmospheric contaminant endemic to Turdragon Caves, voltammetric dating inconclusive. Original purpose unknown. Direct exposure in sufficient concentration leads to irreparable lung damage, which explains the Turdragon curse.
Still life number 12. Exoplanetary Archaeology Series, depiction of the white hole harvester on Kepler 1544b. Approximately 3.14 standard units below surface, with access by the Feigenbaum tunnels. Dated to the Techno-Dark Ages. Pre-EMP 150K local cycles BT. Inert, but once powered an entire civilization. Animation is an artistic rendering of the core in action.
Still life number 13. Exoplanetary Archaeology Series, depiction of Pythoi cache from New Gnosis on Teegarden Star B. Gosper Island, layer unknown, circa 2.4K local cycles BT. Containers bear superficial similarity to Kama Res ware, with raised floral and shell motifs partitioned by bands. Privately funded excavation, not coalition approved, damaged vertical stratification, introduced self-replicating materials, and only documented the finds on social media.
Check back for more news from distant worlds. Have you heard the reports of canals on Mars? Check out the view from the premier coffee shops lining the waterways in Venice-town, Colony 6. Coming up, the latest news from the museum.
Still life number 14. Exoplanetary Archaeology Series, depiction of 3 artifacts from the Hall of Trophies in hexaflake state, Kepler 186f. Ballcourt layer, 1.5K local cycles BT. Material is an organic derivative, calcium carbonate in bioplastic matrix. Affine et al. Argue that ritualized sporting competitions culminated in the captain of the winning team literally becoming the trophy through a process of sacrificial 3D printing.
Still life number 15. Exoplanetary Archaeology Series. The name for this infamous artifact in the source language is over 5,000 characters long and can only be translated using topographical linguistics. In Euclidean French, for example, the translation is at the midpoint of an equilateral triangle with the words astra, tohu bohu, and liberté inscribed at the respective vertices.
Still life number 17. The Garibaldi Wing is hosting a special exhibit entitled Kepler 186f, 100 Years of Finds. Depicted as a musical instrument from Mount Sierpinski, Designed for single use on ceremonial or religious occasions, the artifact is played by dropping it from a great height. Music is generated as the rush of air is funneled through the apertures before the instrument shatters on impact.
Flora number 7. Exoplanetary Biology Series, the puffer plant, Helianthus dirigere, is a hardy perennial native to Kepler 452b. Microundulations of the unbranched stems create a rhythmic airstream that keeps the capitula airborne. Relative distance is maintained by a mesh of nearly invisible microfibers, and the positioning of the plant as a whole is heliotropic. Puffers can travel significant distances, are most active in the spring, and have a preference for the nutrient-rich vapors at attractor hells throughout the greater cantors.
Check back for more news from distant worlds.
Support Martian Heritage Week. Because the Red World can do without another low-gravity golf course. Coming up, the latest news from the museum.
Still life number 18. Exoplanetary Archaeology Series, depiction of a decorative scroll urn, recovered from Hausdorff South, Trappist 1D. Iteration layer, circa 1,500 local cycles BT. In iterative times, members of the ruling class would commit a scroll to memory and then burn it as a sign of wealth and mental prowess. The gilded reliefs illustrate key scenes from the scroll, in this case a history of invasions. Ironically, the practice of scroll burning has resulted in most of their accomplishments going up in smoke.
Flora number 8. Exoplanetary Biology Series, rainbow funnel ferns, Tracheophyta infundibulum, are found across most of northern Talaria on Kepler 62e. The eponymous fronds collect dew and conduct it to the roots ahead of the long summer season. The jostle of ferns in the wind generates infrasound, which protects the plants from predators. The noise from fully hydrated plants is sufficient to cause nausea and vomiting in humans.
Still life number 19. Treasures of the New Toronto Museum of Exoplanetary Archaeology. Depiction of a brooch liberated from neo-corsairs by the Antiquities Recovery Unit at NTMEA. Provenance identified by palynology and stylistic analysis as the Sierpinski Plains on Kepler 186f. Spatial layer, circa 200 local cycles BT. Excellent example of modified mass production, as the base was 4D printed and then meticulously phase bonded to metallic and organic decorative elements by a skilled artisan.
Still life number 20. Treasures of the New Toronto Museum of Exoplanetary Archaeology. Depiction of reconstructed bioelectric circuitry from the ruins of a personal flying vehicle. Recovered at Hausdorff East on Trappist 1D, echoic layer, circa 400 local cycles BT. Encoded with a metallic resin, such parts were tuned to individual owners for purposes of security and flight control. To this day, the proximity and mental state of the occasional visitor interact to trigger a transient electrical response in the material.
Check back for more news from distant worlds.
Next Sunday, Mars Colony 5 is sponsoring a free walking tour, entitled Inspirited Footsteps. This moderately challenging hike will trace the 7.7-kilometer route of the Spirit rover between 2004 and 2010. The group will leave Shinjuku Hoshi at 10 a.m. All participants will receive free oxygen credits and a box lunch. Be sure to use the facilities before departure. Coming up, the latest news from the museum.
Still life number 21. Treasures of the New Toronto Museum of Exoplanetary Archaeology, portion of the proximal interphalangeal joint of a military droid from Tau Ceti F. Lake Turdragon, urban sedimentary layer, circa 1000 local cycles BT. Fleximetal sinews provide a powerful yet controlled grip, while sphitorian spacers ensure a lightning-quick response. The spherical pitting on the ventromedial surfaces is consistent with neutralization by an invasive nanoweapon, possibly during a battle.
Still life number 22. Recent acquisitions by the New Toronto Museum of Exoplanetary Archaeology, depiction of 4 zoomorphic figurines from the Gosper Island dig on Teagarden star B. NKM layer, date uncertain. Stylized but recognizable portrayal of an indigenous even-toed ungulate with similarities to a Terran camel. The assemblage was cast in a bronze analog from what was clearly a standard mold, but vary in degree of subsequent embellishment. The cache was discovered with a chit which translates in part to, including tax.
Still life number 23. Depiction of metallic vessels rescued from high geosynchronous orbit above Gliese 1061b. Low-tech but exquisitely crafted, the 4D printed designs are devoid of internal circuitry, let alone propulsion systems. Cosmic ray stratigraphy identifies the age as between 75,000 and 1 million local cycles BT, although orbital decay would have occurred in a fraction of that time. Blancmange et al. Argue that the protruding panels act as stabilizers, shifting the COG periodically by thermal expansion. MS profiles and trace biomaterials rule out 1061b as the planet of origin, shifting attention to adjacent waterworld 1061c and snowy 1061d. Preliminary surveys are unpromising, but given the age of the artifacts, there are almost certainly treasures deep beneath the waves or ice.
Still life number 24. Extended to August 1st. Dante without Virgil, the singular life and untimely death of a trailblazer to the stars. Don't miss this long overdue retrospective on the illustrious career and incredible finds of the late Professor L. Pentaflake. The illustration depicts the so-called thruster cluster on Tau Ceti F, the date he was overseeing at the time of his tragic demise in the Valley of the Pinwheel Arachnoids. Check back for more news from distant worlds.